The true story of the terrorist attack in the Olympic Village in the 1972 Munich Olympic Games, but this time told from a different perspective. Here's my review of September 5. September 5 is about some American producers who are tasked with covering the 1972 Olympic Games in Munich. This is the first time that the Olympic Games will be televised live in America. And one night in the early hours of the morning, some of the crew, they hear gunshots coming from the Olympic Village. Information is very scarce because, of course, there's a language barrier and they have to rely on the German authorities, the police, and they have to rely on what's happening on German media on the TV. Terrorists from Palestine have, in the Olympic Village, they have entered the room of the Israeli sporting team and they have taken hostage a few of the Israeli athletes and a few of the coaches. This American broadcasting team now have to switch from covering the Olympic Games and now have to figure out ways to cover this terrorist attack live on television while dealing with the moral questions that arise from every situation throughout the night. September 5 is directed by Tim Fehlbaum, and this is his third film after Hero and The Colony. The terrorist attack in the 1972 Olympic Games is a story that I'm very familiar with. I would highly recommend checking out the Oscar-winning documentary from 2000 called One Day in September, directed by Kevin MacDonald. That film really dives into the incident very in deep depth. So I recommend checking out that film. But this film, September 5, does a great job of giving us a different perspective of the event. It doesn't try to copy what that documentary does. It tries to give us a human face to the events. In this film, this broadcasting team, they're constantly fighting back against their network executives because this team, they're not experienced with dealing with live news events. They were hired to cover the Olympic Games, so this is the first time for them covering such a high-profile event. They have to come up with unique ways to cover this live terrorist attack while also while also dealing with the language barrier as well. I loved how every few scenes I will get like a tense scene or something happening in the Olympic Village or with the terrorists, and then suddenly a few of the like 3 or 4 of the TV producers will leave the room and they'll huddle together, and then they just start talking about the moral, like should we be doing this? Should we be shooting this? Or what are we doing? Should we be doing this? It's very interesting. I love how they are constantly discussing the moral implications of what they're doing. And I love how the film perfectly captures the limited technology that they had back in the early 1970s. Even though the technology they had back then, like there's no mobile, it's all wired, there's wires everywhere, the cameras are huge, so they have to, and they're heavy and huge, they have to carry these cameras everywhere, so even though they're limited by technology at the time, they still managed to get everything done. And this is my favorite part in the movie is one of the TV producers that he has to pretend he's an athlete because they're banning the media from the Olympic Village just for safety. So one of the TV producers has to pretend he's an athlete, dress up as an athlete, and try and sneak into the Olympic Village just so they can get better footage inside the Olympic Village, closer to the hotel room. September 5 is filled with 3 wonderful performances from 3 character actors, Peter Sarsgaard, John Magaro, and Ben Chaplin. They really bounce off each other. There's a sort of hierarchy because like one of them, I think maybe Peter Sarsgaard's the top, and then Ben Chaplin's in the middle, and John Magaro, he's quite a new to the team, so he's at the bottom, but they bounce off each other. They really respect each other's opinion, and they really go at odds with each other, but at the end of the day, they really respect each other. So that was a nice dynamic between the 3 actors. And then there's Marianne, played by Leonie Benesch. She is the only German character in the film. I found it really hard to believe that this American crew would only hire one German-speaking person to help them in this Olympic Games. So I think maybe that's probably fabricated for the film. They probably had more German staff on their team, but for the film's sake, it does work. Marianne, she's putting so many situations because she is the only one who can translate, so she has to go into all these tense situations, and the lead actress Leonie, she does a great job of dealing with these stressful locations and keeping a calm, level-headed, and she's really fantastic in the film. I give September 5 4 stars out of 5. This even if you are familiar with this story or you're not familiar with this story, I definitely recommend checking out this film because it takes a different perspective on the events, a human perspective on the events, and it really raises a lot of moral questions about what should we, even now, like it's still relevant now, like what should we be covering with live television, what should we be covering and what should we shield from the audience. So it's really interesting. I definitely recommend checking out September 5. Thanks for watching. What did you think of September 5? Please comment below what you thought of the film. See you next time. Bye.